Hello everybody, my name is Farmer Phil, and in today's video we're going baling. So just after having a dinner, been baling all day, but where we're going now is to bale a bit for ourselves, about 7 acres I think. Maybe there's less in it now, there could only be 5. I'm really bad with trying to figure out how many acres, because just for context, that field there I was always told was an acre. The lawn, as we call it, so I was told that's an acre. So I try and envision how many of them is in what I've done. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, there's probably 1 of them, 2 of them. It's probably about 5 acres. I'm gonna go with 5 acres. Rock and roll now. While we're going to bale, we're going to bale paddocks that are ahead of one of our batches of calves. So it's actually a bit of ground. Now you may remember from last year, we brought the 27-25 out with the grass harrow, and we stitched in some fresh grass into 2 of the paddocks. We didn't do one, so there's a lot of good bit of grass on it. But the calves are grazing that ground now because we swapped around things from last year. Because of our worm issue last year, one of our vet's advice was to swap, let the bulls graze the area where we had the highest worm burden, where we're having the most issues with calves and worms. So then the calves went to where the bulls have been grazing, which is a drier, nicer bit of ground. So hopefully it works in our favour this year, time will tell. But in doing so, the calves are on a larger area now where they're just simply not able to get through the amount of ground that's ahead of them. So now we have heaps of grass. When we get up there, you'll see we have 2 fields that we've been mowing and going into the first cut pit, which hopefully we'll get started, and maybe tomorrow or the day after we'll start mowing. And then there is the 3 paddocks in front of them, which would be split into 2, so it's really 6 paddocks, but there's 3 divisions, and then we'd split it off with wires in the middle of that again for the calves, to make sure that we are just, you know, making the most of our grass utilisation. So it's down 2 days in the ground, and we're going to wrap it up. Bro has already raked it, so it should be in great order. Just needing the wee massey and a rake here now. The wee massey. And when we have a bale, then we'll be heading back, dropping the baler and putting on 2 very, very nice pieces of equipment, moving the bales. So anyways, we're just driving across our red clover because we're going to the far end of this block of land. So red clover's coming on nicely there. I'd say, what is it now? We mowed that about just over 2 weeks ago. Wouldn't just be 3 weeks ago, but about 2 weeks growth on that there now. So I'd like to think in our 4 weeks we'll be baling that again. So yeah, it's doing well. Clover is starting to get a wee bit sparse in it. We might try and let it go on a little bit stronger this time to let it go to seed, and it might reseed itself a wee bit. But yeah, clover is gone kind of shut on it. To the next field, which we're going through here, is the only issue I have now is the easiest gate to get in and out of is that gate over there, as that is the safest gate for coming in and out of on this block of land. The other gates, you come out on blind spots on corners on a very busy road, which is just like a hard line. Nah. Especially when I come to taking the bales out here, it's just nah. So these 2 fields here we'll be putting into the pit. I'm just going to have to mark my track across here, and just what is what is. Probably should have mowed it and lifted it, but when I came in that night, I come in from over there to that gate. But yeah, hey yo, just so you may be wondering why, if I was doing this in pit in a few days, why did I not do where I'm going to bale in pit? 2 reasons. Number 1, 2 of the paddocks I've never mowed before. 1 I know has stones in it. 1 I had been kind of walking and gauging for the last 2 years, could I mow it or not. Knew there was 1 big stone in it, kind of half marked it, and I wasn't sure after that. It mowed actually very nice. The stony one, I just had to keep her up, so there's a bit of a long stubble on it. But that was 1 reason. I wasn't sure if there was any stones or sticks or anything like that that could cause issues for the harvester. The second thing is, there is wire in the field. There is wire lost throughout the field, as we had issue last year with when we had calves here. We had a deer out here, and the deer pulled all the wires down throughout the farm. and we have as many as we could stood up, but we're still missing wire. So I know I hit wire with the mower too. I hit a nice little wee coil of it, and when doing that means that there's wire throughout the silage, which means that I'd only be giving the harvester an awful time by tripping the metal detector. So it just ain't worth the hassle of it. Here we are. So I just had to skip that corner there because it's being soft. Skip that bit there. Stone is over in the brow there, and then it's 3 paddocks. It's in 3 paddocks, but it'll be 6 divides for the calves. So we have this one here. We have one there side of what's left of post and wire, and then one the far side up beside the calves. We'll show you the calves when we get that far. So when I was mowing this, I was keeping the mower up, so I wasn't sure if I'd find anything or not in regards to stones. So there's a little bit of a long stubble here. The middle one I've mowed before, so I know it's grand. Pretty nice heavy crop on it. Lovely order. Bit of a wilt on top. Still green, you know. Should make for some pretty damn good silage. So we fold out the baler, we get loaded up a wrap, and we make a start. So we're ready to rock and roll now. Before we go any further, I'd like to thank today's sponsor of today's video, Tama, for all your crop packaging solutions. So we have our standard Tama net in the baler. That's what we're making bales with, but we also have their new product, the Easy Web. You would have seen last year that we had it on a top secret video, and now it's for sale. We have it as some of our customers are now requesting it, and the advantage of using the Easy Web, it's 12 single strands versus the 32, and the Easy Web is recyclable. So if you're using the bale shear, you can cut your bale, you can keep your Easy Web and your plat wrapped together, and it all goes for recycling, whereas you can't with your net. Your net has to be separated from your wrap. Thanks to Tama for sponsoring today's video. You want to learn more about the crop packaging solutions that they have, you can head over to their website. There'll be a link in the description down below. All our twine, net, it's all Tama. And it's time to get baling. Bing, bada boom, pick up down, and away we go. The way here now, there is, let's say, 5 acres, 4 acres here. Now I'm on top of the hill, I can see both sides. About 4 acres here. How many bales do you think there will be? I'm going to say about 40 bales. But let me know in the comments down below, how many bales do you think we'll have on what's here? I'll just show you now. So there's what we're in. We have 3rd bale just coming out there now. We have paddock in the middle, paddock the other side, and that fusion is always beeping at me. But yeah, there's one roll out. So how many bales do you think we'll have out here? Here's this field bale, and we have 25 bales off the first paddock field, whatever you want to call it. So I would call that very successful. That was a serious crop of bales, serious crop of grass, sorry. Next one is just as strong, then the next one just isn't as good. To kind of put in context, this only got slurry, got no bag, no fertilizer, no compound, just slurry. They will put out 2,500 gallons to the acre pig slurry, and the cattle have been off this since November. So this has been growing since November with 2,500 gallons of pig slurry. It was just after arrival, so a shorter roll of wrap. So see what's cracking at him. See the gator driving in. Wrap. Yay! Special delivery by a woman and her dog. Isn't that right, Nelly? Special deliveries, Nelly. Special deliveries. After changing to next paddock, 43 bales. So I've already exceeded what I thought there was going to be. It's a little bit lighter here, just the nearer you get to the calves, because we did have a wee teething issue for a bit, but we have better power in the fence now, so that's kind of stopped. There's 10 bales. If I have 60 bales off this, I'm going to be very, very happy. That's going to be a serious capture. Serious. We'll see how we get on anyways, but yeah, So far so good. And just for anyone who's wondering why aren't we using the Easy Web and we're using ordinary net instead, it's because these bales are for, well, when I say they're for sale, they're already sold, but so it's just, we're just using the net because they're sold for sale. They're not for our use, so it's just easier. Everyone expects to get net. We don't expect to get Easy Web, so clean simple. That's why we're doing that. But yeah, happy out. So that is us done. Sum total of 53 bales. So I'd be quite happy with that. That's 13 more than I thought I'd have. So far, we have gathered in paddocks ahead of the calves. We gathered 15 the other day, and 53 now is 68. So we've gathered 68 bales just on paddocks ahead of calves that are gone too strong for calves to eat. I still have 3 paddocks to mow ahead of calves, just waiting on the ground to dry. The bottom's at home, so once I get that dry enough, we'll get them knocked, and that'll add to our total, which should bring us up to 100 bales, which is about a quarter of the bales we need that we near enough have pre-sold. So yeah, so the reason we're making bales off what's ahead of our calves is because it's easier. We can do it when we want rather than having to try and tie it in with pit silage. The reason we're taking it ahead of them is to make sure that we reset the grass to something that's more suitable for the calves. We're just here with the batch now that's here, so they've probably by the weekend we'll move these guys on to the next. Basically just move them out here. There's one the wrong side. I'll try and get these bales shifted now. I have to plant a lot of pumpkins and then we'll be moving them, but quite happy with how this year's calves are doing. Touch wood, everything is going pretty good. So I'd be hoping I might get a second cut of one of these paddocks out here in about 6 weeks time, because I don't think they'll just reach. The thing with the calves is at this stage they're off milk, they're on meal, but their grass consumption, the amount of grass they need to eat or they'll eat, is quite low. It's not a larger quantity. So this time of the year, grass always gets ahead of them, so there's plenty of grass on their paddocks that they'll need later on, that you can take the grass away and make better use, better grass utilization as it's called. I'm happy with that now. 53 bales. So we get them drove down to the pit, so I'm going to do that myself. We're going to put on 2 double bale handlers, which we'll show you when we go back to the yard, onto the 99, and we're going to be moving 4 bales at a time. Anyways, we're going to be on back to the house. We're going to go plant pumpkins for an hour or two, and then we'll come back up and we'll start shifting these bales down to the bale stack. So we are just about to leave the yard now with our double bale handlers. So on the front we have a double Fleming bale handler with a fold up, so as you'll see here, one side folds up so you can put a bale on, tilt it up, load that side, so you don't have to drop 2 bales beside each other then hook up. That's what that's for. And then on the back we have a trip mechanism, tipping one, so a hydraulic trip, so you can tip over your bales, so double bales all round. So we're going to head on up to the field there now and start moving the bales. So just so you know, the noise has changed, or the mic has changed. That's because my mic has decided to break yet again. I'm going to head up to the field. George in the black massey's going to come to stack the bales for me. So what I'm going to do, he wasn't sure when he'd get to us, so I'm going to be bringing the bales down to the stack, so that when he gets as far, he'll be able to load the bales, stack the bales into it. Alternatively, if he is there, or when he does get as far as me, I'll bring the bales as far as the red clover, so he can load them there onto the trailer and bring them down. Save him having to drive all the way out into the other field, load them, and then get back out, because there is a wet gap between 2 of the fields, and it could be a bit tricky. So it's gone really droppy, and it's just gone dark like that, like just literally. We'll be on up to the field, we'll make use of these double bale handlers. So going for my first bale, so going for my left hand side bale, that's her. I have the links in the slotted holes. They want to be mounted into the solid holes to stop that from happening, and the calves are coming over. I'll go rearrange that. So when I lift this now, it should be south. Yeah, a little bit lopsided, but calves are all seeing what the crack is, so it's not. As I said, this rain has just come out of nowhere. But we are on pretty good dry ground, so it's not really going to cause us any issues, except for the gaps could get a little bit mucky, but apart from that, we should be fine. So now, if I am right, all I do now is I flick this bale up, like so, and then I let this side down. Bale, and I let back down that side, and that's my front loaded. Now for the back, I'm going to hinge that before I even start. Moving a bit square. Then drop one side. First time I've ever done this now. I'm amazed if I got it right. Thereabouts, I think. Forward. Back in between them. I think I left them a bit too far apart. So I do. Oh, too far apart. I'll go put away the camera if I get this right, because that's the theory, but I'm just now putting in practice. And we are loaded. 4 bales on. So it took me 4 attempts to get the back right, 1 attempt on the front. I like that ram. that makes that job a fair bit easier. Like the first 4. So we bale on to the yard. I'll just explain a little bit as to why I have 2 double bale lifters, and it all started back in September last year when we had the 5S on demo. Because in one of the videos we had the 5S, I had my single bale handler, which is a Fleming, on the back, and in the video I was moving bales, 2 bales at a time across the field down to where we were loading, and I said in the video I'd love a double bale handler. And actually when I was picking up the 5S, I was torn between buying a double bale handler and the grain bucket that I did buy, and I bought the grain bucket, but both were same price, and I was torn between which to buy. I bought the grain bucket. I still think it was the right choice because we didn't have a tractor loader bucket. Not that we have a tractor, well, we have a tractor with a loader, but it doesn't work. Work in progress. Work in progress. There is a video in production on that. But anyways, so in that video I said, oh, I'd love a double bale handler, and it just so happened that someone from Fleming was watching, seeing we had the Fleming single, and they got in touch, and that started the whole thing. That's why we were at the factory, and that's why now I have 2 double bale handlers, not just 1. I have 2. Hoping I'm not catching the ground with the front ones. I think I'm alright. Hydraulic top link is probably wanted on the front. It's very hard to get the top link short enough to get it to kind of not tilt the bales forward. A bit hard on that. Back isn't too bad. But that's how we come to have double bale handlers. They dropped them down. They said have some fun with them. They're 2 different types that they have, and see what we think. And that's why we have 2 double bale handlers. I'm going to make good use of them now, and we are going to move all these bales. Hey, coming on 12:30 at night. We're just moving the last bales now. So George here in the back Massey, he's protecting the last load, and I'm just bringing bales over as far as them just to speed up the loading of the trailer. Definitely getting the hang of stacking loading the bales. So I'm actually just using the front one because I find it just a lot handier with the ram on it. So we've the last 4 bales loaded now. So George has gone on ahead of us, And yeah, that's it. That's the bale, and the bale's gathered for today. We'll be on back to the yard. So it's the next morning. We're just up here at the stack, just dropping off the last 4 bales. Brought them home last night because I wanted to get a picture for the thumbnail of the tractor in daylight. What you gotta do for social media, for the content. Navigate my way in here next to the wall. Two off the front now. Stack is filling up. Type gonna hold 200 bales. There's 100 bales in it now, but I just cannot see it holding 200 bales. It's going to be well out onto the yard to fit that many in it. So, hey, when we get it filled, we might start drawing bales away then to the customers that have them bought, and make it start emptying it out again before we do a big bit of baling. We'll probably bale some of our pit silage ground that we'll be doing for first cut as second cut bales, or maybe even third cut bales, depending on what way grass growth is, what way grass demand is. We'll make it up as we go along. We just can't really set anything in stone as of yet, because we don't know what way grass is going to grow, or what way cattle may or may not need extra grass. Now, so that is the pile. It's coming on nicely. So it is coming on nicely. So there's our back double bale handler, tipping mechanism on a ram, but I didn't really need it, so I didn't use it. But the front is very handy. The ram on the side here, which lifts your bale up to catch your second bale, very much like that, very much like that. That makes the job so much easier. Pick up your bale, flick it, put on. Hell of a lot easier than the back. But yeah, that's the crack. So thanks to Tama for sponsoring today's video, and for Fleming dropping them down for us to have a bit of fun with. We'll make good use of them now throughout the year. So we will. And if we got 6480, we'll be able to do one in the back, two in the back, one in the front. Be real efficient. Maybe so good. We're going to leave it at that for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm heading off now to spread slurry. So if you have any comments in like that, let me know in the comments down below. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel. Videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. That is it for me. Good luck.